In this video, we talk about this potential nor'easter that's set to impact the north, along with its potential impacts coming up. Alrighty guys, so for today's question of the day, I'm wanting to know if you could go on any game show, which one would you go on? Leave it down in the comments below and I just might heart your comment. Now guys, we are trying to reach 300 subscribers by the end of January, so if you're not already, hit the subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. Alright, so guys, we're taking a look here at the radar view in regard to what is currently going on across the nation. So across bits of the southern plains, we are dealing with a bit of rain shower activity kind of near Houston area, kind of right between all this mess currently going on. It's driving its way towards bits of southeastern Louisiana as we're currently talking, kind of near the New Orleans area here. Also kind of just west here of Monroe. So we are currently dealing with that system that we were looking at on the models yesterday. So we'll continue to look at that here in a second. We are seeing some snow across the Ohio Valley into the northeast here. Maybe some accumulations is possible. And we'll take a look at the snowfall forecast from your National Weather Service here in a moment. Same thing for the upper northwest. We are dealing with a little bit of snow showers across bits of Idaho into bits of Montana, as well as bits of South Dakota. Alright guys, so we're taking a look here at the future radar in regard to your NAM 3-kilometer model. So as we were seeing, we do have some rain across bits of the south. This will track its way to the east near the Florida area here on the 25th for tomorrow. We will probably see some rain for those early morning hours here, kind of impact bits of the panhandle. Now for the system that we were seeing across bits of the Ohio Valley here, you'll see it pop up here in a second. This system is expected to track its way up to the northeast for tomorrow as well, kind of exiting the region by tomorrow afternoon across the areas, as we will have some building and high pressure across the regions here, leading to more sunny skies across the areas. And as we were seeing across the upper northwest, we do have a bit of snow shower activity. This will drive its way down to the south here, across bits of the southwest here for the 26th. Alrighty guys, so now we're taking a look here at the National Weather Service forecast in regard to your snowfall accumulation that is expected over the next 2 days. So kind of across this light blue shaded area, you can kind of see across bits of the northeast. This is basically where we are seeing 1 to 3 inches expected across those regions. And kind of that darker shade of blue, this is actually talking more 3 to 5. Now guys, once we start to reach kind of these pink shaded areas here, as we can kind of see across bits of New York, bits of Pennsylvania, as well as Ohio, we are seeing a potential of maybe up to a ½ foot or more. Now, as we start to kind of reach in these, really dark, kind of almost red shaded maroon colors, this is basically showing the potential of maybe near a foot. Moving on now to your expected temperatures here for today. It's quite warm across bits of the south, kind of across the southeast and through bits of the plains. We are seeing temperatures actually quite warm today. We're talking 50s and 60s across a lot of the areas here. We'll take a look at the satellite view in a second in terms of cloud cover, but overall in terms of temperatures across the south, it's actually relatively warm. Now, across bits of the northern plains and through bits of the upper Midwest, it's a complete opposite story. We're seeing temperatures here in the negatives across this purple shaded area here. And we're actually kind of right here at this freezing line. It's actually a little bit more higher north, which is, a good thing for a lot of people who don't like cold temperatures. It's a lot more higher north than we have been seeing over the last few days here. Here across the mid-Atlantic into bits of the Tennessee, Ohio Valley. It's actually a little bit more warmer than it has been for the last while. But across the north, it's still bitterly cold, but it's the opposite across the south. So for tonight's minimum temperatures, it's going to be quite a cold one yet again for a lot of these people here. Across bits of the mid-Atlantic, kind of where I'm drawing this line here, is this right where your freezing line is located. Basically the boundary between your above freezing temperatures and your below freezing temperatures. Above across bits of the southeast, but a lot of the interior portions of the state, it's going to be here well in the in the freezing points again. Now across the north, right here where the shade is, this is your below zero mark, showing that all this area in here is expected to get into the negatives. Alright, so guys, we're taking a look at your wind gust forecast over the next day or so. It's going to be quite a little bit gusty here across bits of the central plains, kind of across the eastern portion here of Colorado, kind of seeing maybe some winds up to 40 miles per hour, in terms of gusts. Now remember, this is not sustained winds. This is basically just gusts that winds could get up to. Across those upper elevations, across bits of, California, like I said, across those mountaintops, it is obviously going to be a little bit more windy because there's really nothing blocking the wind from hitting anything. So you're pretty much wide open and all the air to flow right past you, and you're probably going to get some pretty gusty winds across those areas. Alrighty guys, so now we move on to the models. First up, we're taking a look here at the GFS model, also known as your Long Range America model. So we are paying attention, like I said, to this potential nor'easter that's set to impact the east further down the line for the 28th into the 29th. Now guys, there has been a lot of trends with the systems over the last several runs of these models, so it's definitely something that we really need to continue looking out for. So here on the 28th, we will get a lot of moisture that starts to drive its way into the Gulf of Mexico. You can barely see it, but it is there. We do have an area of low pressure that does develop. This will track its way onto the coastal side here of the eastern coast of the United States. Now look at this. There's a lot of moisture across the southeast. We are seeing the potential of maybe some snow falling across the Tennessee, Ohio Valley. Now, as this thing tracks up to the north, it's going to get a kick here, and it's going to strengthen quite quickly. So, as we do track up here to the northeast, take a look at this. This area of low pressure tracks actually really strengthens here to around 981 millibars, according to your GFS model. Now, guys, just for a little fun fact for you all, that's kind of near a hurricane strength pressure. Now, like I said, this is not a hurricane by any means, but the pressure-wise, it's quite similar. So then we do track into the northeast, and the pressure continues to drop, showing that it is expected to strengthen here. We'll probably get some really heavy snow bands falling, potentially allowing for some heavy accumulations across the northeast. As the system tracked its way through the 29th, even into the 30th, kind of exiting the region here, kind of around the afternoon hours here on the 30th. Alright, so guys, now we're taking a look here at the ECMWF model, so there is still some similarities and differences, but I will say there is definitely a lot more agreement compared to what we did see yesterday. So, as we do track down in time, the general idea is still there. This area of low pressure is set to strengthen across the eastern side of the United States. Some precipitation across the mid-Atlantic into the northeast. Same story, kind of tracking around the same grounds. Now, yesterday, the GFS model had this thing shooting way out to the sea here, not even impacting the northeast. But as we did just see a minute ago, that's actually a change, and now it's expected to impact the northeast. But the European model all along has also shown the same story. Take a look at this. This is expected to strengthen really even more than your GFS model was saying, potentially in the 950 millibar range here, dropping heavy snow bands. I mean, really heavy, potentially some pretty crazy accumulations as well here for the 29th into the 30th, exiting the region here by the afternoon of the 30th. So there is some agreement in terms of track now, but there is still a little bit of disagreement in terms of just how strong this low will be. So now comes your Canadian model in terms of your GDPS model. So there is a lot of similarities, but there is one major difference with this model. So across bits of the southeast, you can kind of see in this pink shaded color, almost reddish orange. This is actually showing maybe more sleet and freezing rain. Now, if you didn't know already, the Carolinas has absolutely been getting demolished with a lot of ice storms. They've already had 2 so far this month, and this model is actually showing the potential of maybe even another one out of the system. But the general idea is still there. Strengthening of an area of low pressure is expected across the eastern shoreboard here of the United States. Same signature. I mean, same thing, kind of very similar to what your GFS had to say. Pressure here in the 970s. We're talking a lot of heavy snow bands across the northeast and potentially some pretty catastrophic accumulations with this as well. We could maybe even see, if this does play out, don't be surprised if these accumulations get over 1 foot of snow. And this thing will track its way out of the region here by the 30th. So timing is actually spot on between all of these models. So guys, what we can say right now is that all of your major models, all of your long-range major models are saying that this is going to happen, which only brings up the confidence much higher. Now, personally, if I was to give it a rating out of 1 out of 10, I would honestly now give it a 9. Just the fact of how many models agree on this, as well as basically the trends over the last several runs of these models and how much they've actually supported this over the last few days. Now, guys, it's kind of too early to tell in terms of approximate accumulations, just due on the fact that some of these models show this area of low pressure being a lot more stronger, which could potentially be more snowfall. So right now, I'm just going to say we're not going to take a look at the snowfall accumulations quite yet. We'll need another few days to kind of get a better idea between the models, but I will say the models are heading definitely in the right direction and showing that there is a lot of support that this will actually happen. Alright, so guys, now we're taking a look here at the satellite view in terms of the current image across the nation. So we were seeing this area of low pressure that is tracking its way to the east here across bits of the southeastern portion of Texas and through Louisiana here. So there obviously is a bit of cloud cover. Now, guys, across bits of the Tennessee Valley, it's relatively clear across the Central Plains as well. We obviously do have a bit more cloud cover across the upper northwest into the northern plains, as well as bits of the Ohio Valley and northeast here, a little bit across the mid-Atlantic as well. But across the southwest and basically bits of the Central Plains and the Tennessee Valley, it's quite clear for the most part. Alright guys, so now we're taking a look here at the day 6 through 10 temperature probability. So basically across the blue, we are expecting the temperatures to be a lot more colder than normal, and the opposite across the orange. So across the east, it's going to be quite chilly for next week. And the opposite across the west here, we actually are seeing those temperatures. Due to a lot of high pressure, a lot of advection going on, a lot of warmer air driving its way to the region, we are expected obviously those temperatures to be quite warmer. Alright, so now we're taking a look at the precipitation probably. So anywhere across the green, we are expecting a little bit more precipitation than normal for this time of the year. And obviously the opposite across kind of this tan shaded color here. So that is currently what we are expecting. Alright, so guys, now we're moving on to the final segment for today's video. We're taking a look at the National Weather Service hazards. Now, there's really not much going on across the nation. Across these purple shaded areas here, all across the nation, we are seeing winter weather advisories, basically showing that some impacts of winter weather is expected here, as we were seeing that system drive its way to the south, as well as that current snowstorm that's impacting bits of the Ohio Valley, kind of across these purple shaded areas. Alright, so guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, guys, we are trying to reach 300 subscribers by the end of January, so if you're not already, hit that subscribe button. That'll mean everything to me. But anyways, guys, if you do enjoy our content and would like to support us, we do have our Patreon page in the description. You guys can check it out there. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.